Yo, yo.
You are fake news.
What's goody? I am Wavy. All right, whoever want to talk about me in the comments, talk your smack. Go ahead, talk your talk. All right, I said the Fani was going to get to stay on the case, so let's look at the facts and see what's to come. Fulton County DA Fani Willis case against Trump can continue. Special prosecutor Nathan Wade, who had a relationship with Willis, resigned from the case hours after the decision. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee found the appearance of impropriety brought about by Willis's romantic relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade should result in either Willis and her office leaving the case or just Wade, whom she appointed to head the case. So basically, the judge said there was appearance of impropriety and there was like appearance that they were lying pretty much. But he didn't quite take her off the case. He gave them an ultimatum that either Nathan Wade goes off the case or Fani Willis, and it makes more sense. And I guess since they not tapping each other no more, Nathan Wade stepped down, so Fani Willis and her office can still remain on the case. Man, even though the judge, in making his statement, pretty much alluded to other entities looking into what's going on, and as far as I know, a couple committees on the state level and on the national level have been started to look into Fani Willis and the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Within hours of the decision, Willis's office confirmed Wade had resigned and she had accepted his resignation. So that's why I was saying he's off the case, she's on it. All right, so let's get to some footage
that we were expecting to drop this week. And so this is certainly a separate, unexpected, though certainly consequential ruling from the judge. A couple of things I want to point our attention to, though, when we talk about those 6 counts. Remember, the former president was charged with 13 counts altogether. So for 6 of them to be dismissed, that takes away nearly half the counts that he's facing in Georgia. But when you look at the judge's breaking down of those counts, I want to take you back to what started this whole thing in the beginning. That was that phone call that the former president made to the Republican Secretary of State here in Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, essentially asking him to find enough votes to overturn Biden's election victory here in the state. Well, the judge is basically saying that the charges, the counts related to that phone call, he is throwing out. And so that's kind of what a lot of people.
That's a huge win for Trump and his team. All right, that's a big win. Almost half of the case is thrown out, including the one that said that he was allegedly, trying to get people to find, quote unquote, find votes, whatever that means. So that one was taken out, and I believe a phone call was involved in that as well.
No, as the biggest thing around these charges for the former president, the biggest kind of action around it. And so the judge in this ruling is saying that those counts related to that phone call are going to be thrown out. What it's also saying is that part of the indictment is that several people who have been charged solicited elected members of the Georgia Senate and the Georgia House of Representatives to, quote unquote, violate their oaths by requesting or asking them to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. That's being thrown out as well.
I wonder if the rest of the major charges, which ones are going to be able to actually stick and go the whole process of the trial.
And so I think that it's certainly important when we look at the counts, but also what the alleged action was behind.
All right, that's enough of you. So this is Judge Scott McAfee that made the decision for Fani Willis or Nathan Wade to stay on the case. And even though he saw that there were some shady happenings, some questionable happenings, he kind of just left it open for other departments to pick up. And believe it or not, I don't know. Tell me. He is, how old is he? 34, 35? So he is like 2 or 3 years. He's like 3 years older than me. I believe it or not. All right. I know y'all probably do not believe it, but if I take off this beard, all right, I go to a baby face too. Yeah. All right. So this is what he wrote in his statement. Yet reasonable questions about whether the DA and her hand-selected lead SADA, is that state attorney, defense attorney, testified, and that's Wade, testified untruthfully about the timing of their relationship further underpin the finding of an appearance of impropriety and the need to make proportional efforts to cure it. All right, so to me, he's saying that he knows that they lied, but and there was an appearance of impropriety, but he goes on to say, ultimately, dismissal of the indictment is not the appropriate remedy to adequately dissipate the financial cloud of impropriety and potential untruthfulness found here. All right, so dismissing the indictment will not remedy what what he thinks Fani Willis has done. All right, skip down here. Nor is disqualification of a constitutional officer necessary when a less drastic and sufficiently remedial option is available. So he's not going to disqualify her. He thinks that there's another alternative, which is going to be, as you see here, the court therefore concludes that the prosecution of this case cannot proceed until the state selects one of two options. The DA may choose to step aside along with the whole of her office and refer the prosecution to the prosecuting attorney's counsel for reassignment. And at that point, they would have to find another local district attorney's office to pick up the case, and then they got the whole process of being briefed and being brought up to the case. Then they have to do their own investigation. It could take a long time till after the election, which is something I think that they're trying to avoid. Alternatively, SADA Wade can withdraw, allowing the DA, the defendants, and the public to move forward without his presence or remuneration, distracting from and potentially compromising the merits of this case. So either Fani or Wade got to get off. Never mind. All right, I had to write these stuff down because there's a lot of stuff. Never mind the calls and texts from between Nathan and Fani. All right, the cell tower pings, the bank statements released by Nathan Wade's wife, soon to be ex-wife, wherever they are in the divorce process, that showed us trips and vacations that were taken, expensive dining. There were wineries involved. Terrence Bradley and Ashley Merchant's text messages that were released. And then also the wages that she paid Wade. Never mind, all of these things were taken into account. There was a timeline, but I guess this is what the judge says is the best thing. I don't know. I don't have any legal background, so I don't know. Maybe this is what he thought. Maybe he's kicking it up the road for, another department to check it out. But before we get to that, this is going to be Nathan Wade's resignation. All right. As directed by the order so he wrote this to Fani Willis. Hope you can see it. As directed by the order today in State of Georgia v. Donald Trump, I hereby offer my resignation effective immediately as special prosecutor for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, although the court found that the defendants failed to meet their burden of proving that the DA acquired an actual conflict of interest. I'm offering my resignation in the interest of democracy and dedication to the American public and to move this case forward quickly as possible. All right, so never mind all that we had. Those were the two options. Of course, it makes more sense for Fani to have Wade resign again. I don't think that they're still booting anymore. So I don't think that, I think it makes more sense based on what they are trying to achieve. All right. So now the Trump and his co-defendants have filed a motion for a certificate of immediate review. All right. They're trying to pretty much appeal it, I think. We'll get to it in the next slide. I believe that they're trying to appeal it. All right. So all of him and his co-defendants filed this joint motion for a certificate of immediate review and request that the court grant a certificate of immediate review of the court's orders on defendants' motions to dismiss and disqualify the Fulton County DA's office issued March 15, 2024 to Georgia. All right. So they did file a motion, and the judge allowed the appeal of Fani Willis' ruling, but will not delay Trump's case. So Fulton County Superior Court Clerk Shay Alexander's office stamped at 9:34 a.m. the certificate of immediate review signed by Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee, who ruled on Friday that Willis and her office could stay in the case if Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade withdrew, which he did on the same day after controversy swirled of the two dating. All right. But a legal expert told one of the investigators that McAfee's new ruling also indicates the case will not come to a halt because of the appeal unless an appellate court says otherwise. The certificate says the court finds that the order on the defendant's motion to dismiss and disqualify the Fulton County office is of such importance to the case that immediate review should be had. All right. And then right here, Betty Ann Hart told when she headed the appeals division in Fulton County for 13 years under a former DA, and said the Georgia Court of Appeals still must decide whether or not to consider the appeal. But often, once the appeals court agrees to consider a case, everything regarding the issues on appeal in the case is frozen until a ruling. But not in this case because of the way the judge wrote the certificate and because of the nature of the appeal. I think it's a pretty cautious ruling, Hart said. So we'll see what comes from it. All right. They filed the appeal. The judge has allowed for the appeal. All right. Says that stuff will still move forward in the Trump case. I don't know how that goes with having to have hearings in the appeal and then having hearings in the actual case. I'm not sure how that works. If you do know how that works, please let me know in the comments below. Wrapping up this video, not trying to keep it too long at all. So ethics complaints targeting law license, troubles lie in wait for Georgia DA Fani Willis. So what's to come from this after all of this? The judge did allude to, like I said, other departments picking it up. Is this what he could be alluding to? I believe Ashley Merchant is being sent to committees to testify about various things that have to do with this case. And they have a Georgia state level committee working on it, as well as a national level committee in D.C. working on this case, looking into Georgia, Fulton County's DA office. Woo, that was a lot. All right. Ethics challenges likely to come. McAfee himself alluded to the possibility of further repercussions in his Friday decision, which criticized Willis' tremendous lapse in judgment and unprofessional manner, on top of lying under oath and sleeping with somebody in your office that you said that you wouldn't do. And where did all them funds come from? You just Fani keeping 100 racks in the Fani Pac Willis. All right. Other forums or sources of authority, such as the General Assembly, the Georgia State Ethics Commission, the State Bar of Georgia, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, or the voters of Fulton County may offer feedback on any unanswered questions that linger, McAfee wrote. That statement, coupled with his odor of mendacity, it means them lying. Okay, he knows that they were lying. Comment was an invitation for someone to bring up as ethics charge for lying, Ryan Goodman said. All right. So we will see. I'll still continue. I kind of forgot about one of my stories to report on one of them, but yeah. Let me know whatever y'all are thinking about all of this, whether you stand with Fani, stand with Nathan Wade. He should still be on the case. Everyone should still be on the case because they were just attacking her. They were trying to put her on trial, but it's Trump and his co-defendants that are actually the one on trial. So they keep on looking for something, but it's not there. They're trying to bring down this black woman. We saw what she said at the church. You know, they don't like to see a black woman appointed in power, appointing a black man and a well-decorated and established black man. Or do you think we'll see what's to come? I don't agree with what the judge put out. I think that there was enough there from what I saw. But like I've said many times before, I'm not an attorney. I don't have any legal or law background or anything like that. I don't know. But from what I saw, based on the calls, the bank statements, the text between Bradley and Ashley Merchant, the wages that Wade was paid in comparison to the other hired attorneys, I think that there was something, and it was going on before based on the timeline. But we'll see what is to come. Like I said, there are a number of various departments looking into Fani now, and you know, we'll see. We'll see if justice will be served. Oh, these are the various departments looking into her. Yeah, and without any more, let me get to my final clip.
This is not a banger. This is not a banger. And I know bangers. I know bangers. This is not.
Hey, man, y'all be easy and stay wavy.